All right, Kamari Lassiter has defined the feeling, the notion of Georgia coming into this game. He says, as far as playing in this game, it's a no-brainer, Matt DeBerry. As long as I'm able to play, I'm a football player. I'm just trying to go out here and be connected with my brothers. We have one more game to play this season, so just being able to go out there and play for one another, that's what we said we were going to do at the start of the year, and that's how I'm going to finish it. That's him. He had a couple other things to say, which I won't bury the lead, but go ahead, Matt. I mean, that's a guy who very well, this could be his last game at Georgia. Very high NFL draft pick, possibly.
Yeah, love hearing that. That's a football guy. That's a guy who loves playing the game. He loves to hit people. He loves playing this game that we've been covering and everyone's been watching, right? And in this era of college football with so many transfers and opt-outs for no reason, in my opinion, and I'm not going to go down that path too much, but it is refreshing to see one of the best defensive backs in college football who is well on his way to getting drafted say, you know what? I've got an opportunity to play football. Why would I opt out? Why would I say no to playing football with my teammates and with my team, even though we're not winning a national championship? It shows the love that he has for Kirby, his team, the university. He represents this program so well, and that's why he's one of Kirby's favorite players. Kirby gushes about this kid every time he talks about him. He was a low 4-star recruit. He wasn't blowing anyone away when he signed at Georgia. I don't think a lot of people really knew who he was until he started getting on the field and making these big time hits. I mean, he is a physical defensive back. And when he lays someone out, Ryan loves it when he's tapping on his helmet, getting after it. He's a different animal out there. And the fact that he said, you know what, I could go to the NFL. I could opt out. No, why would I? I'm going to play for my Dogs. And we're going to go get us an Orange Bowl. I love everything about it, Ryan.
What was the quote? Connected with my brothers. Not even talking about playing football, talking about going out there and just being connected with his brothers. Well, Kirby loves those DBs, but if there's a guy that his coach speak has bled through, Kamari Lassiter is one of those guys. And that's why he's one of the leaders of the team, because he can regurgitate that message. But I do believe that they believe it and that they buy into it. But it does start with Kirby and that staff and what they are saying to them when they walk into their living rooms when they're 16, 17-year-old kids. And it really sticks with some of those players. And I think it's obvious that it's really stuck with Kamari Lassiter, that message. But he's not the only one. There are other leaders on this team. Like, they want it too. Javon Bullard, Kendall Milton, all of these seniors, they have a chance. This is a risk on their body. This is a risk on their professional future. A game that it just doesn't mean as much as what it could have meant. And it's a professional risk that they're taking, but it does not weigh as much as the opportunity does for them.
Let me add this from Kamari, speaking to your exact point there about the seniors. Before I do, make sure you're signing up for our newsletter. You're going to miss out on a lot of stuff. The link is right down below. Just take a moment to sign up for that. Again, the link is right down below. It says, is this Kamari again on Wednesday? He says, it just shows how connected we are, talking about everybody playing in the game. Obviously, we lost the SEC championship, but we've been working hard over the last months to play this game and finish the season the right way. The senior class can be the winningest class in Georgia history, and we owe it to those guys to try to send them out the right way. The senior class has poured a lot into this university. That's not just talk, by the way. That is actually true. He says they were a part of the first national championship of this era, saying they were a part of the first 15-win season. We owe it to those guys, and the rest of the team and the coaches owe it to them as well, Matt. He's keeping Kirby and them accountable.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why they recruited him. He's local Georgia kid, but he did play at a private school in Tuscaloosa. But they love his tenacity. He's a max effort guy. He loves to compete. And, I mean, he's talking about it right here. So, and Javon Bullard is the same way. Those two guys eat off the floor, right? That was one of the themes this year. Kamari Lassiter certainly eats off the floor. And he's ready for some scraps. He wants some Florida State scraps. He wants orange peel. He's getting after it. And you love to see it, because I just don't think a lot of players, especially ones who transfer to different schools, they don't have that same type of love for that university as someone like Kamari, who has been there the entire time. poured his, heart, blood, sweat, and tears into this program and this team. And he wants to end it the right way. And it looks like he wants to end his career the right way as well. And he said, you know what? I've got one opportunity to play for the red and black and play with my teammates this year. I'm not going to miss that. It's a no-brainer. Love that comment. And that it speaks to him as a player and as a person as well.
Let me just jump in real quick, Ryan, and say this. They really, I mean, they have Georgia's uniform on, but that's like, you should be playing for one another. And the institution that you're at is just the visual representation of that. The silver breeches, the G. That's like I think at first for me, the connection thing, that was like, man, that's not really what Kirby's like. But I think it's evolved. I think it feels to me like that is sincere and genuine and all that stuff. And I do think that that's mattered. That's some stuff you'd hear from like Dabo, and like, you kind of roll your eyes and be like, all right, man, just serve the pizza and let's get out of this cult situation. I think it does, I think there's merit to that now at Georgia, Ryan. And I think that I think those guys should be playing for one another. I think that Cedric should be playing for, Xavier, Truss, Van Pran, all those guys should be playing for one another. And in this case, with Stacy's medical situation, they should be playing for him and play for each other. Don't Georgia will take care of itself. Just play for one another, Ryan, because, and I'm telling you, when you lose, y'all are all you've got.
Yeah, and another thing with that offensive line room, Devin Willock, that part of it,
For sure.
it totally mattered. It totally matters to them. They're playing for him every single game as well. But Matt can speak a little bit better to it than I can. But when they're out there on the recruiting trail, it's not just about the top-rated guys. It's about the right guys. It's about the guys that can deliver that message and live that message. It's not about the number one player in the country, but it is about hunting and finding a Brock Bowers, who obviously he's a freak, but a guy that's willing to lay it out on the line. A little bit different with him because he'll be opting out of this game. He has a much different situation, especially when you're talking about a guy that was clearly been injured.
Ryan, the two guys that may or may not play, they are both coming off of tightrope.
They both come off surgery, the same exact surgery. Yeah, so it's different, and there's a difference between like a surefire top 10 or 15 pick and that's a little bit different as well. And that's kind of what maybe Mims can be that too. He might be, but that's what they want. And they want every single guy in the room to be like that. They want everyone to sit there and hunt. We were doing another video about Gunnar Stockton. He can leave. He's not the starter next year. He can leave. Carson Beck could leave. You see the movement everywhere across the country, and most of them aren't leaving, and there's a reason for that, and it's because the connection thing is real.
And they're developing, Matt. I mean, that matters too, right?
Yeah, and I think this sets a precedent that, at Georgia, you don't leave your teams hanging, right? You don't leave your teammates out to dry like this in a bowl game that a lot of people think doesn't matter. To them it does, and they love the opportunity to play alongside their teammates, guys that they played with and practiced with every day for years now. And like Ryan said, Kirby goes out and gets kids that love the game and love to compete. And again, he wasn't the highest rated player in that class. And Javon Bullard was like a high 3-star kid that didn't have a lot of offers. But Kirby said, I love the way this kid plays. He's tough. He can cover. He makes plays. And I don't care that he's a 3-star from Milledgeville. A lot of people might think this is a stretch to take this kid, but we know what he's all about because we know what he has up here and in his heart. And we know the effort that he gives and the leadership qualities that he has that other people are going to see down the line. So I think in future seasons when guys are, maybe going over the decision, do I play in this bowl game? Do I opt out? Do I declare for the draft? I think a lot of people are going to be like, hey, remember what Sony and Nick did. Remember what guys have done in the past. Or remember what Kamari Lassiter and Javon Bullard did after that 2023 season. Maybe I should do the same. And it's going to leave a lasting kind of memory or legacy in the years moving forward.
Brinson, Truss, Milton, Edwards, Truss, Brinson, Stackhouse, Wathauer, Logue, McConkey. Most of this team, Dylan Bell. Most of this team, y'all, are not top 100 players. Most might be a stretch. A lot of the players on this team are not top 100 players. So and even if you have really, really good players, Cedric Van Pran was a really good player. He was not a top 100 player. Tate Ratledge and Marius Mims were. Fairchild and Morris were. Green, Freeling. They have plenty of those guys, but if you don't play as a tandem on the offensive line, I just think that what Lassiter's saying here is following up what Bullard said when they landed, which is, hey man, we're here together, right? Like we're here together. We're playing a game. They have that Brock and Amarius are the two guys that may not play in this game. And a lot of that is possibly because of their injury and body situation, Ryan. Makes a lot of sense, and that no one else is checking out. You're talking about with Lassiter and Bullard, y'all. Those are two guys that could go. I don't know, but they could go in the first round.
Yeah, I think they're both kind of viewed as borderline first-round players. Like that, there is a chance that they would
gain here, Ryan. That's my point.
there's nothing to gain as far professionally speaking. There's nothing to gain. Like their grade is their grade. Like this one game's not going to change anything in a positive way, really, unless Javon Bullard wants to do what he did against TCU again. Like, you know what I mean? That's what can change things. Getting hurt can change things, but that's the risk that they are willing to take right now. And why we're having this video in the first place and what we're talking about, they're putting that above themselves. They're putting their teammates and the G above themselves. I'm like, I'm not sitting here criticizing other players that do opt out and everything. Everyone's situation is different, but here, for Georgia, that's collectively as a group, they know it's bigger than themselves, and that's part of why they win championships.
I will add though, I do think it's possible that the opting out of high level players may have sort of circled around to where more of them are playing than used to in the past, because how often do you get hurt in a bowl game? It's not common. You're losing. Brock Bowers got hurt against Vanderbilt, so you can get hurt at any moment. Can you? I don't know. I think with CJ Stroud, obviously.
Practice.
One more time.
You get hurt training or in practice.
You can. There's any number. There are no guarantees in the world. There is no. Life is not fair, so we don't know. Everybody that's not a player always says, "Oh, I would always play." But there are things to consider here, and I think that the long story short is, I think that both Bullard and Lassiter are nailing it here, saying, "Hey, man, we got a chance to play. It's important to us to play. We're going to go out there and do it." Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next website, or the next website, or the next video.